What's up, legends? Welcome to another day of Bitcoin did nothing yesterday, and it's likely to also do nothing today. So before I end this video, how about we talk about one of our show sponsors, OKX. OKX have a pretty good deal going on at the moment. If you are looking for an exchange to trade on, check out the link in the description of this video where you can get up to $60,000 in rewards for completing tasks. And in addition to that, you can get 15% discount off your trading fees ongoing for life. Okay, goodbye. Only joking. Guys, the reason that Bitcoin is doing nothing today is simply because we have a pretty big options expiry coming up at the end of this week. And this chart shows what's going on here. You can see here that we have a total notional value of 4.8 billion. That is really quite large. And what you do tend to find before this options expiry is that the week does tend to be a bit flat. But as we get closer and closer to that actual expiry date and time, the volatility comes in somewhere up to a day prior. So being only Wednesday, we're just a little bit too early for anything to happen. And this has me really believing that this is the reason that price is being held sideways. Because if you are regular on this channel, you will know that when price is being held sideways for a period of time, that is the market maker accumulating before the next big move. And something like an options expiry is certainly enough to trigger the next big move. Now, going back to this, when we have a look at the calls versus put, the notional value of the calls is 3.08 billion and the notional value of the puts is 1.71 billion. So it's definitely more heavily weighted towards the calls. And the max paying price currently is 26,000, meaning if price closes around 26,000 at the expiry, which the expiry is usually around the UK Open on Friday, then if we're within around $1,000 range either side of that 26,000, that's going to cause max pain to both sides. But that doesn't mean that price is going to go down there because we are, like I said, heavily weighted to one side. So it could be a case that either this is the market maker or the market maker is going to come for these people. So here's my play based on this information. As you guys know, if you've been watching this channel for a while, by the way, if you have, thank you for your loyalty. Be sure to smash up that like button, hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and turn that bell notification to all so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. If you're new here, welcome. Let me explain. So I've been in a long position since this W down here, somewhere around the 25K mark. This here is a 33 trade, which is a rise, consolidation, rise, consolidation, rise. And after a 33 trade, you go into a long period of consolidation and usually price eventually breaks down, but the target is only the 200 EMA. Now, originally I was trading this whole formation on the 15-minute time frame, which the price already hit the 200 EMA over there. But this exact trade setup did also play out on the 1 hour. And as of yet, it has not come back to the 200 EMA target. Now, if it does, that whole formation is complete. And the 200 EMA really is not that far from price. Currently, it's 29,700. So we're talking $600-700 from price. It's not what I consider to be a huge juicy trade, something like this, which is always what I aim for. So for that reason, I'm trying to assess what is happening in this consolidating period, because consolidation is where you pick up hints of what might happen next. And this is what I've come up with so far. Yesterday, I talked about there being no stopping volume candles on lower time frames. When we look at the 1 hour time frame, we can see that the high of last week was formed here on this last move to the upside that happened in US last week on Friday. And that was followed by a red vector right there. And since then, price has not returned to that red vector. So that becomes my area of interest. What I can see following that is through the weekend, we had one attempt into that zone that failed. Price pulled away during this week so far. And then yesterday we came back for a second attempt. So far we've had 2 attempts and not actually got back into the zone. That means that in this candle right here, this red one right here, there are trapped traders who longed far too late and potentially have not closed their trades yet and are sitting in a drawdown hoping that price breaks out to the upside. Now, they may be released as a part of these options expiry and we may get that continuation to the upside and they may get lucky this time, or price may fall away and they won't be so lucky, they'll be liquidated. So for that reason, because I'm already in a very good long position, I have opened up a short position hedge trade as well. I opened it after this second rejection here and I've given myself a pretty generous stop loss above the high of the week. Now, I'm not fully positioned on that trade just yet. I will wait for market structure to actually change before I decide if I'm going to add to it. But at the end of the day, if my short position doesn't play out, I'm still going to make more money on my long long position because I'm still holding that and that one is fully positioned, then what I will lose on the short position getting stopped out. Now, if price then does break structure and start to actually look bearish, that's the point that I will take my final profit on my long and add more to my short position on the trend change. So that's kind of how I trade, guys. I like to just trade the big swings. I'm not really interested in trying to get a board meeting breakout and a small little day trade here and then trying to get it here again and here. I really try to get my aggressive entry down here when everybody's talking about price going down further. I look to the charts to see if they're telling me a different story, and I try to remain unemotional about it and just trade what I see. And look, sometimes I do get emotional. It's not that easy, but at the end of the day, if I'm not sure, I'm not sure. And that is why I sat out in this whole period here. I sat out of opening a short position because if you happen to catch yesterday's video, I did talk about how this right here was starting to look like a bull flag, and a bull flag at level 3 is sometimes a trick for retail traders where the market maker sets it up to look like a bull flag and then it doesn't actually go anywhere, which is kind of what's happened now. We've broken out here, we've come back, we're in a retest mode, but this does not look like it wants to retest and bounce out sharply just yet. So this whole week so far, there hasn't been a trade for me until last night when I saw that second rejection. Now, having a look at the heat maps, I've also spoken about this during this week's updates where heat maps weren't giving me anything because we weren't having high level orders above or below price. But this morning, something interesting has come in, and currently we have 1.4K worth of orders wanting to buy at 29,000. So if price does get a retracement back to that 29,000, that's going to be here where that line is on my chart. And when I see a big high level of orders like that, I try to match it up either to EMAs, to a previous vector recovery or something like that. So when I look left on this, I can see here that this is the candle right here that they may come back for. Now that's going to depend on price breaking down. It has broken all of the EMAs up here so far up to the 50. It hasn't broken any of the key levels. So we have not yet broken today's initial low of the day. Looks like we may though. Like literally, did I just manifest that? I think it's going to happen right now. But anyway, where it looks like we're about to break the initial low of the day for today. Yesterday's low of the day was right here at 30,100. So that would be the next to break, then the 200 EMA, then into this zone. So there's a few things to break on the way down if it does come for this. But at this point in time, that's where I'd be looking for a potential midweek reversal. And that may not happen today. So look, to be honest with you, I don't know if I'll do an update tomorrow. Unless price actually does something, there's kind of no point. This might be a couple day wait and see thing. But if you do want an update tomorrow, regardless of what price is doing, you know what to do. You better smash that like button and also leave me a comment down below and let me know that you want to see me tomorrow. Let's have a look at the 15-minute time frame. And what I'm going to do again is I'm going to draw the halfway mark from yesterday's low of the day to today's high of the day. 50% lines up here at around 30,550, and the Asia Open was around that 50% mark. So usually that does signal another no trade day. Keep an eye on it though. It may change, but for me, I'm not going to do anything. When we do have a look at the 15-minute time frame though, there is a structure here that is bullish at this point in time, and that is that we held the low of the day here with a W formation. The only thing I don't like about it is that this whole structure here didn't break the 50 EMA volume, so it's not great. Again, all of these things are just leading to me to say like we're in a range and we have to wait. And I know like for the most part people hate hearing that, but it is what it is. Like when you're in a range like this, if you try to force trades, this is where you lose most of your money. And then when eventually the big trade does happen, you either miss it because you're not on the ball because you're frustrated from losing money, or you get it, but all it does is make back your losses. That's not the point of trading. You know, it really goes a long way if you just have patience and just see price for what it is. Price is accumulating right now. Let's not force trades. But besides that not being perfect, we did have this breakout to the upside. We're currently in a retracement. If it does hold this initial low of the day, then that's going to be a higher low. We are under the 50 EMA, which is not great, but if we hold this level, there is a chance that we'll break out to the upside. I'm just honestly not all that hopeful of huge price action over the next day. Now let's see if we actually have a news event coming up that may change my mind on that, because I know we have some stuff today. Today is Wednesday, the 28th of June at 5:30 p.m. Dubai time. Fed Chair Powell is speaking. That hasn't done much for price so far, but you do still have to stay on your toes with that one. Tomorrow we have him speaking again, and then we have final GDP and unemployment claims. We also have core PCE on Friday. This one could be a market mover as well. And look, it may lead to, because this is the same day as those options expiring, it may lead to a highly volatile Friday. And I tell you, usually whatever trend is formed on a Friday, so if you have a big irrational move to the upside or the downside on a Friday, that trend usually continues into the weekend. Because if we have a big move to the downside, retail panics and they continue selling over the weekend, unless it only moves to like a buy the dip kind of area. But usually that would happen before US closes on Friday. So the trend would change before the market actually closes. Whereas if we have a big irrational buy to the upside, especially because of where price is right now on a higher time frame, let's have a look at that. If we have a big irrational, this was me screaming at the community yesterday, but I'll talk about that right now. But if we have a big irrational move to the upside because of where price is right now, that's also going to cause a lot of FOMO buying. And that's because of this zone right here. So my message to the community last night was price has currently returned to an area where it accumulated for 30 days before a new move was made. So you got to be prepared for history to repeat or rhyme at the very least. And we may get stuck in this range for a long period of time. And that may mean that there isn't a trade every day, or there potentially isn't even a trade for the whole week, you know? Look, mind you, this was a 10% range, I'm pretty sure. If we measure that average range, yeah, it was 11%. So that's definitely day trades within that zone. But you have to know that this is an accumulation period for the market maker. So they don't make it easy for you. And this is when, you know, trades can go wrong a lot more than they go right. And like I said, the whole goal is to get you to peak frustration so you make a dumb decision. So when you know that the markets work like that, you have to be the smarter one and say, no, I'm not going to let you. And not letting you means being patient, you know? So anyway, at the end of the day, if the options expiry or core PC or something like that, if one of those things causes a big shift, it's either going to be people saying, we just cannot get above 30,900. We're going back down to 12K, right? Because it's a second rejection. So we're going to start hearing massively bearish news all over again. Or it's going to break out to the upside and people are going to start calling 40K. So those are my reasons for thinking that we may not have anything exciting happen till Friday. If something changes between now and then, of course, I'll do another update. But yeah, you may not hear from me until price actually does something, because I'm kind of, I'd rather give you value than just post videos for no reason. Looking at Ethereum, we spoke about this formation yesterday being a typical reversal formation. Things got a little bit tricky with ETH last night because it gave us this nice big green vector candle that gave us a full recovery of this red one, but I wasn't able to get back into the high of the week and it just failed again. So again, to me, this is a no trade zone. What I did really like yesterday, we'll have a look at it now, was ETH BTC was shaping up to give us a very interesting potential change in trend. So let's see where price is now. Has it come all the way back down? It has. So again, this is an annoying zone as well. So this was looking like a potential W. We had this break of the 50 EMA, but we did not get back up to this zone right here. So for me, there's no moves to make until we get through this area of interest. All I'm doing is watching to see what happens below that. But that's basically a W fail because it's come back down now for a third time. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't still break out to the upside. It just means it's not a W. Now we're dealing with a different pattern, which could be that we now have 3 hits to the low of the week, which is exactly the same as ETH USDT, where I showed you that we have the 3 hits to the high of the week. So again, what you'd be waiting for after that is to see, does the market structure change on this now? We get a higher low somewhere, then we expect it to make its way up to the 200. Again, will be a battle zone. After that, we want to get a break of that 200. If it can't do that, the other way that this works is it makes its way up. It creates a lower high in the zone. So maybe it doesn't fully slowly recover this vector right here. That lower high is your signal that this is going to go down further. So this candle right here is our area of interest for a bearish formation. So definitely worth keeping an eye on. Don't want to play this range. Definitely want to wait for an either breakdown of the low of the week or break out of this area of interest up here. But within the range, I'm looking for a hint of what may happen next. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and check out the links in the description of this video for some exchange sign up bonuses. As I mentioned, the OKX one, if you can't trade on OKX because of where you're located, I do have other links down there, as well as the Traders Toolkit, which will give you information on how to join us to learn this method in full. See you on the next one.